Making your pack compatible with FreshLX's Fresh Animations Resource Pack is really easy. You're going to want to make an add-on pack, a third pack that bridges your pack with Fresh Animations. People will have to download your add-on pack, Fresh Animations, and your main pack. 3 packs in total. There's 3 ways to do this, 3 ways to make your resource pack compatible with Fresh Animations. It depends on your resource pack, and you can even use one of these 3 techniques depending on the mob. Scenario 1, your pack only changes textures. This is the easiest scenario because the add-on pack that we're going to be creating only needs to use textures as well, because both you and FreshLX are wrapping your texture around the default models basically, right? By the way, the default models are available through a Blockbench plugin by Ewan Howell. Thanks, Ewan. That's scenario 1, right? You just have to supply a texture in your add-on pack. Scenario 2, your entity models only add details to the default model. Instead of re-adding the entire default model to your pack, you can also only add a limb. This is a .jpm file. For example, I gave Hoglins a tail in my resource pack, and instead of having to add the entire Hoglin model, which is otherwise just a default model, well, I mean, it's freshly animated, so it has the cool animated eyes, but this technique allows you to just add simply the model of a tail, because you're adding stuff to the underlying pack's model, right? So how I added this tail is by supplying a .jpm file. It looks like this in Blockbench. You just add it to FreshLX's model, right? Which is again the default model basically, right? That's scenario 2. It's a very optimized thing to do, keeps your pack nice and small for those with high standards, right? Scenario 3, your models completely revamp a mob, like for example my Iron Golem, right? There's nothing left of the default one, all the limbs are different. In this case, you're probably going to want to start out with just FreshLX's model, whichever technique applies to your pack or your mob, because you can also mix and match these techniques, right? It's just good stuff to know, and if you're creating a big stuff like me, you probably want to use all the techniques. Here, look, my Iron Golems, they're nothing like the default Iron Golem anymore. And in cases like that where you do more than just add details, you know, you probably gonna start off with FreshLX's model, right? And then work from there. It's real simple, but this video is gonna go over all the scenarios. Either way, you're gonna have to understand the basics of how resource packs are loaded in Minecraft. It's very simple. From the Minecraft wiki, resource packs load their assets based on the order of the packs on the list. The bottommost packs load first, then each pack placed above it replaces assets of the same name with its assets. That makes sense, right? And you probably know this because you're a pack maker. By the way, did you know that Minecraft recognizes resource packs if they are folders? So you can just work on your resource pack, it being a folder, and you can just edit assets live without, you know, having to work with the zip file. I'm gonna assume that this is common knowledge. I hope this is common knowledge, but just in case, I'll put it in the video. Here's the how-to part, and I'm gonna explain scenario 1 first. If your pack only changes textures, this is my Better Default and Fresh Animations add-on pack. Here you can see if we go to C for Creeper, there is no Creeper 1, there's only Creeper 2 and 3. Those are kind of more advanced Creeper variants, so I didn't use this technique there. But it doesn't have a Creeper 1 model, right? Because it's using FreshLX's Creeper 1, right? He supplies one, I just supply the variants, and I supply the properties file. This add-on goes over Fresh Animations, so therefore my property file will be used, my Creeper 2 and 3 file will be used, and FreshLX's Creeper 1 will be used, which is just basically the default Creeper. I loaded it up. Not this one. This one, there you go. Look, this is FreshLX's Creeper, but with my Creeper texture, which is really simple, right? Look, if your pack is like my Creeper, which is really simple right now, I do plan to update it, but Jappa said he liked my Creeper, so I've kept it. But back to the showcase, it's very simple. You just open up Fresh Animations, locate the texture of the mob you're trying to port, and compare it to the default texture of that mob. Most of FreshLX's mobs will have extra pixels on their texture space for pupils, eyebrows, etc. That's also why FreshLX's textures don't have eyes directly on the skin. Anyways, you just need to customize your texture so it matches FreshLX's model. You may want to open his model in Blockbench to see his UV mapping, so you know what you're working with. Just include the altered versions of your pack's textures into the add-on pack, and you've successfully ported your mob to Fresh Animations. Congratulations. Scenario 2. Your entity models only add details to the default model. In this case, you're going to want to create a new OptiFine part. This system is not default to Minecraft. FreshLX custom built this system into Fresh Animations so you can optimize your pack better. There's a full list of parts you can use in his Discord. I will link it below. You will later use this list to determine the names of your .jpm files. You can either open your existing entity model and convert it to a JPM part, or you can copy paste from your model into the .jpm part. Either way, you're going to want to align your part's pivot point with the pivot point of the appropriate limb of your model. In my case, it's the tail, so I'm aligning it with the body's pivot point. The part's pivot point is relevant to the part's cubes. Move the cubes accordingly. The 0, 0, 0 point in Blockbench represents the pivot point. When there are rotated cubes or bones in your SEM, those rotations will be reset when you copy them to the part along with the pivot point. You'll need to move the pivot point back to its proper position before rotating it back to the way it was in your original model. Now you just export your .jpm part file referencing FreshLX's list. In my case, I'm just exporting it as hoglinbody.jpm. Look, the names of all the parts are right there, and it works for all the mobs, right? Put the .jpm file into your SEM folder, and you've done it. Congrats. You've now very successfully and in a very optimized way made your pack compatible with Fresh Animations. look at you. Scenario 3, your models completely revamp a mob. That's me most of the time, to be honest. In this case, you're just going to be putting your model inside FreshLX's model. Open both your model and FreshLX's model and see how bad the damage is. Some mobs can be surprisingly easy to port while still looking good, while others are going to need special attention and care in order to be successfully ported. If you're watching this tutorial, you probably, very much like myself, have no idea how FreshLX makes any of his mobs. I look at his code and it's basically magic. I don't have the knowledge to interpret it, but feel free to mess around with the variables in his code of your add-on pack. There's been scenarios where my models were just not playing nice with his animations, but I could fix it by changing some numbers and understanding what they mean by seeing the changes I made. I always test my ported models in BlockBench even before I test them in game. This can also help if you're changing the variables around of his code. If like sometimes you have to change, I think one time I changed like a 0 to a 20 and it fixed my model somehow, you know, if you're committed enough to do it anyways. Once you're happy with your Frankenstein final product, save your edited Fresh Animations model into the SEM folder of your add-on and boom, done. Ready to test, and then you can infinitely tweak it because there's tons of details to add with Fresh Animations. For example, I copied FreshLX's code and I made the details on my skeleton horse. Like when he runs, I added like bags or like a quiver and like a block to my skeleton horses, and now when he runs, it bobs, you know, because I could just copy his code. So you can actually, without knowing what you're doing, just by pasting stuff around, you can also go into real details here, right? But for the most part, you're just gonna put straight up your models into his limbs and then align shit, right? So it works, right? Did you know that FreshLX includes the animation of his extra FA bonus add-on packs into the main pack? That means that if your pack adds ears to pigs, for example, you can put them in the pre-existing groups in FreshLX's model, and your pigs will automatically be freshly animated too. Make sure the file paths of either your .gem or .jpm files are in the right location for your add-on pack to replace the .gem files in Fresh Animations. Lastly, yes, you are allowed to upload your Fresh Animations add-on pack to CurseForge or Modrin. If you do so, just add FreshLX as a project member and set his point reward to a neat 50% split, so it's an official collab, and blammo! You successfully made an add-on pack that bridges your pack with Fresh Animations. Therefore you ported your pack to Fresh Animations, and therefore we're done with the video. Congratulations and goodbye. Good luck on your pack endeavors. Shout out to FreshLX, who's the chillest guy in the room for letting us use his sweet animations on our own packs.
A reminder to you that FreshLX has a Ko-Fi.
You can subscribe to him and you get an exclusive version of Fresh Animations with all the future features. You can get them now by subscribing to Patreon, so check it out. This is my YouTube channel, so subscribe, and